It's been over 3 years now since the BMW G310R was unveiled at the Milan Auto Show. Well, it is finally here in India and it is launched at 2.99 lakhs. Apart from the naked street bike, BMW has also launched the adventure version, the GS, which is launched at 3.49 lakhs in India. Now both the bikes are powered by the same 313cc engine, which also powers the TVS RR310. But BMW has told us that we should look beyond the specifications and find out the nature of these two bikes. So we are going to ride these bikes and find out how they behave on our Indian roads.
The G310R has a very simple and an uncomplicated design. As a matter of fact, it looks like a shrunk S1000R, which is a good thing. But as we mentioned earlier, it was launched 3 years ago, so the design does look a bit dated now. But when it comes to fit and finish, paint quality, handlebar, and even the switches, they're all top quality stuff. Not to forget, the BMW logo on the fuel tank certainly gives the G310R an air of sophistication. Like the RR310, both the GS and the R are powered by the same 313cc engine, which has an output of 34 bhp. Now the engine provides a linear pickup, but its mid-range power band is where the power starts to kick in. In the RR310, we had noticed that once it crosses the 6000 RPM mark, one could feel the vibrations from the footpegs, the seat, and even the fuel tank. Thankfully, we just felt a niggle once both the R and the GS crossed the 6000 RPM mark. The engine does feel a lot more refined than the TVS. Swing your leg over the G and you realize how supportive the seat is. With an aggressive riding stance and with knees tucked in, it feels sporty without compromising on comfort. Ride the R in low speed and it tends to snap back at you as the throttle response tends to get jerky. Unfortunately, we couldn't come across too many corners, but the few that we did, the chassis showed its class. Just a slight nudge, and it responded instantly and remained solid as a rock without creating any doubts in your mind. The G310 GS, on the other hand, looks every bit like a BMW Adventure Tourer with its typical beak-like front design, a small windshield on top, and of course, the massive luggage rack in the back. Both the BMWs are built on the same chassis as the one on the TVS RR310. As similar as both appear on paper, their nature couldn't be more different. Now both the BMWs use the same 41mm upside down front fork and a rear suspension, but as the GS is an adventure tourer, it offers an increased travel of 180mm both in front and rear. As the R is more of a street bike, it offers a suspension travel of 140mm in front and 131mm at the rear. The GS provides a commanding riding position and the seat squat is even more comfortable than the G. As it has more suspension travel, it easily carpets any pothole that comes in the way. Even though both the bikes come standard with dual channel ABS, the GS gives you an option to disable it when you hit the dirt tracks. Due to its nature, design, and the additional girth, the GS manages to corner without any fuss, but it needs some breathing space when it comes to tight corners. Unlike the R, the GS doesn't bite back when you're cruising at low speeds, it just steadily purrs away. Even though both the bike's tires have an identical width of 100mm in front and a wide 150mm in the rear, it's the R that uses 17-inch wheels at both ends, while the GS towers down upon its sibling with 19 inches in front and 17 in the rear.
After riding these bikes for the entire day, I have to say it is the GS which is the more versatile bike, not because it is an adventure bike, but it's a lot more easier to ride, it is a lot more lenient, it is a lot more forgiving, and let's not forget, it is a lot more comfortable. It's also nimble, so that makes it a lot more easy to ride in the city as well. Plus, with an option of going off-roading as well. The R, on the other hand, is an ideal street bike. You twist the throttle and it does try to push you back a bit, but the nature of the engine is a little bit more linear, though the throttle can be a bit more jerky. The riding stance is a lot more aggressive, but again, it is ideal for city and it does let you beat the traffic at ease. When it comes to vibrations, both the BMWs are a lot more refined than the TVS RR310. On the RR, you can feel the vibrations in the region of 4,500 to 5,000 RPM, but on both BMWs, it is a lot more subdued. As a whole, I would say both the bikes are a lot more refined than the TVS, but my vote goes to the GS. It is just a lot more versatile